welcome to another episode of Music Musings. I'm your host, Eric, and with me, as always, is Pat. Pat, how we doing?
Good, good. It's a beautiful Sunday. I love to see all the people out. Had a great weekend. Saw the Odyssey. Highly recommend it. But if you see it, please pace yourself. It is a 3-hour movie, but you will be hooked to your seat the entire time. I promise you.
I love that. Love that. Yeah, we are going to try and see that in the IMAX experience.
Yeah.
Coming up soon. So looking forward to that.
It is. The cinematography is well designed. So you're in for a treat, especially if you're on a big IMAX screen. So,
I love treats.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, excited for today's episode. And before we get into that, as always, we'll talk a little bit about our new releases for the week, some of the musings or what we've been listening to. And then also want to go over a survey from our last episode. Some interesting results there. So I think that will be interesting to talk about today.
Definitely.
So let's jump in with our new releases for this week. I'll start with Tyla with the title of A** Pop is the new album, which we figured out the title may not be an explicit curse word.
Yeah.
I think it's just that's the name of the album.
Yeah. I think it's I think that's just the name of the album. I've heard her music before. I think I mentioned the song called Chanel. She's really interesting R&B mixing with a lot of African elements of percussions, but she has her own lane and she's pretty good. I haven't heard this album yet, but I would imagine it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. So give it a listen.
Yeah.
As always, we haven't heard it yet, but we'll listen soon.
Well, we get around to it. We just
right. They never release it on our recording schedule.
Yeah, exactly. They don't consider us.
It's their fault. It's not our fault.
100%. I'll take the next one. There's the new album by The Strokes called Reality Waits. We were talking about this prior. The album I've only heard one song so far, which is called Falling Out of Love. It's pretty good. Gives that indie folk rock sound, which I think is underrated in my opinion. We've had this, conversation multiple times before, but I think I will definitely listen to them because I do have a kind of a miss for that nostalgic, early 2000s indie folk rock scene. So yeah. So, and you as a longtime fan of The Strokes, how you feel about this upcoming album or new released album?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I was actually just listening to them. Somehow did not listen to this album, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll have time this week, but I am excited to hear it. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we have Willow, The Thread, new album.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. Willow is really, obviously Willow Smith. She has kind of a punk rock kind of sound that I think she goes for now. She's worked with Kid Cudi a few times, so on certain elements of tracks that are that has a punk rock edgy sound. I think she is underrated. I think she has something to say, and I think we should give her a listen. I think she has her own lane as an artist. Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll be talking about her in a little bit, but yeah fair enough.
Yes, we will.
And then we have your boy Shabuzi, featuring Leon Thomas, Burn It Down. So haven't heard it, but I'm interested because it's Shabuzi.
Yeah, it's good. I'm just not into country, so I feel bad. It's actually so far from my ears, but I don't have a well-trained country ears. It's good. It's just it's not my sound or an interest of me, but to me it sounds well crafted and it gives I didn't really have any negative things to say about this, but it's pretty good though.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna give it a listen.
Yeah.
But let's get into our musings this week.
Oh yeah.
I can start. I don't have much for this week.
Go for it.
I've been listening to, like I said, The Strokes, some of their old stuff, some of the old hits. It's just their sound. I love it. You know, they haven't changed their sound. I mean, we'll see how the new album sounds like. Hopefully they haven't, but they haven't really changed their sound much, and they just have kept it to what everybody loves about The Strokes.
Yeah.
So I love them. I've been listening to Vampire Weekend.
Interesting.
Because Vampire Weekend actually came out with a new album. And I'm on the fence about it currently.
Oh.
But we'll see. Okay. I'm not going to say much more about it until I give it a couple more listens. But it has the Vampire Weekend sound that you would expect. And that's all I'm going to say right now. Anyway, so
yeah,
check them out if you've never heard of Vampire Weekend, which I don't know. Where have you been?
I've heard of
but
the
anyway.
band. I just haven't listened.
Really?
Personally.
Have you heard, like, listened to any of their albums all the way through?
No, I have. I'm sorry. I'll admit it. I haven't, but I know who they are. But I think I've heard like one or two songs in passing. I just don't. I'm trying to identify what songs in particular in my mind. But I've heard that band before, or But I'm just Sorry,
I'll send you some tracks. I'll send you some tracks.
Okay. If you recommend it, with Bad Sons and Muse, those have kind of been in my rotation because of you. So I'm afraid you're gonna add more.
Yeah, I'll just keep adding to your list.
Yeah. Oh man.
And then finally, I've been listening to New Found Glory. I just haven't really been able to come off of them. So
hey, respect that.
There they are.
There we go. That's pretty good.
What about yourself? What have you been using this week?
I've been missing the progressive house sound, so I've been listening to Dead Mouse 5. It's I've been listening to him, and it's just I miss that like early 2000s progressive house with just a lot of good synths and upbeat melodies. It's just well crafted electronic music, in my opinion. Including on that sound, it's early 2010s is Calvin Harris, especially that summer song. I Met You in the Summer. Yeah, that song. Just been vibing with that lately. Every morning I just kind of like have like a progressive house, my commute to work, and it's how I vibe in the morning now. I just been rocking with the EDM lately. But if you give a chance to Dead Mouse 5, yeah. If you listen to Dead Mouse 5 or Calvin Harris, you know exactly what kind of EDM sound they are. So, lately, and then next on the list, I've been listening to LL Cool J. It was it was random because it came up in like a random like shuffle, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was ironically it was Mama Knock You Out, and then I was starting to listen to his older stuff where it's like R&B. LL Cool J does not get enough recognition in hip hop in terms of the sense that he was the first hip hop artist to kind of start making like ballads in the early 90s or late 80s, where he was kind of like, actually late 80s, where he was mixing elements of like R&B and like love ballads as a rapper. So I think obviously he's just a good lyrical rapper as well, but I think he doesn't get enough recognition in hip hop in that sense. But I'll leave it there.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And last but not least, been vibing back to Bad Bunny. Debe Traer Más Fotos is just came back in my rotation again, and that's where I've been now.
Yeah, you can never go wrong, Bad Bunny. So
no, yeah, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Before we get into today's show, I want to go over. Last week on our show, we released a survey about an artist's debut album versus their sophomore album, and which one is better. So I can share the results.
Oh yeah,
because some of them are quite interesting.
They
and
definitely are.
Our listeners voted, and we might have some words after this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry. Go on.
So I'll go through and talk about which one won for each of these artists.
Okay.
So first one we had was Kanye West, debut album, The College Dropout, versus his second sophomore, Late Registration. Overwhelming, The College Dropout won. There were no votes, none for Late Registration. So
we could have threw Graduation in there, and I.
I mean, yeah, but you can't deny the results.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree. I kind of cool with that one.
So, that's fine. Then we get to Foo Fighters. And the debut self-titled album Foo Fighters versus the sophomore album The Color and the Shape. And this is interesting because it is a tie. It's a tie. And I was kind of hoping for
the Color and Shape,
The Color and the Shape to win, but I mean, I get it. They're both good albums. They are, but I kind of like The Color and the Shape a little bit more.
But, I get you.
It's fine. It's the viewers.
It's the viewers
or the listeners. The listeners. Nobody can see us right now.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
So
man. an interesting tie there for the Foo Fighters.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we have Coldplay. So debut album Parachutes versus second sophomore A Rush of Blood to the Head. An overwhelming win here. A Rush of Blood to the Head won, with the debut album getting no votes.
See, that one was kind of strange because you were talking about Parachutes in the last episode, Sparks, Yellow, but I just think I get it. I think A Rush of Blood to the Head is just, you have clocks, scientists, and just it's hard to argue against those. Don't get me wrong, Parachute was great, but I think the sophomore album just, I don't know, it just had more hits, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
That's why we have these surveys. Then we have Lady Gaga. So debut album The Fame versus the sophomore album The Fame Monster. And again, we have a tie. We have a tie here. So I kind of liked The Fame Monster, I think, more than the Fame.
Poker Face is on The Fame, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay. I think I lean towards I remember we talked about that. I think I lean more Fame because I think it just have more recognizable hits, should I say. But The Fame Monster, I think it had Telephone with Beyonce, which I think we mentioned. Yeah. But
Telephone, Bad Romance. And Monster were on The Fame Monster. The sophomore.
I got to think about this a little more. I go back and forth on this one. I can understand how the viewers, the listeners, feel on this one. I can go back and forth. I'm not mad at this decision at all.
No.
It's a tough one.
It's fine. I understand that.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Panic at the Disco. Debut album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out versus Pretty Odd, the sophomore album. Overwhelming. A Fever You Can't Sweat Out won. Pretty Odd had no votes. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
It is a better album. So.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like, because I remember you talked about, you made it like a good argument for Pretty Odd. And
yeah, I'm a little, a little hurt, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm sorry, man.
I get it. Can't win them all.
No.
Bruno Mars, debut album Doo-Wops and Hooligans versus the sophomore album Unorthodox Jukebox. Unorthodox Jukebox completely won.
I was very surprised in that one.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
Really?
I know everyone's tired of Grenade, but just the way you are is just, I don't know. That's just got a special place in my heart.
Fair. That is a good song, but
yeah.
You know, Unorthodox Jukebox is just...
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I understand.
Yeah. Okay, this one I'm proud of.
Ooh.
Fleetwood Mac. Debut album, self-titled Fleetwood Mac versus Rumors.
I don't like when you're right all the time, man.
And Rumors completely won. There were no votes for the debut album.
You were right. I don't like it, but you're right.
You know, it's a tough thing. But that's all we'll say about that.
Yeah.
Adele.
Oof.
Debut album 19 versus her sophomore 21. It was a tie. It was another tie.
I'm not even mad at it. I'm mad at it at all. That's a tough one.
It is, and I think it should have been a tie.
Yeah, I'm proud of everybody for voting that way. I appreciate it. That is the accurate answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo, debut album Sour versus sophomore Guts, and Sour got all the votes.
Yeah,
Guts got nothing.
I maybe I just got to re-listen to Guts, but I get it. Sour is just
it is that good.
Yeah, it's a great start to a career, and then you seem sad for a girl that's in love. That's also great. That's
she did it. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she does.
Finally, Blink-182.
Yep.
Debut album Cheshire. Cat versus second album Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
Dude Ranch completely wins. There were no votes for the debut album.
I would have to agree with that. 100%.
It's just a much better album, in my opinion.
No argument there.
And apparently our listeners. So
yeah,
yeah. But thank you to everyone that voted. We will most likely maybe have another survey coming up soon. So please be on the lookout. Check out our website, musicmusingspodcast.com, and we'll always post it there.
Yes, sir. Yes, we will.
All right, so let's get into today's topic.
Oh yeah. This one,
you wanna introduce it, Pat, and kind of go into the first segment?
Sure. So this one might be a little bit of we might step on some toes, but let's step on some of them because it needs to happen. So when we're talking about like music, nepotism in music, because there's always family ties when we think about like so many different artists and families and groups that come together and they also have careers. Sometimes people are not as always, accepting, and sometimes they are like accepting of like talented artists. We could use Michael Jackson, for example, from the Jackson 5. Michael Jackson had his own solo career, and then Janet Jackson came into the picture, and then she had her own great solo career. So sometimes, nepotism can be very good in music. But before we start, let's talk about what is nepotism in music actually look like. Now, defining the term nepotism, it is when someone receives opportunities because of family connections rather than earning them entirely on their own merits. And in music, that can be like having famous musician parents, composers, or someone in the scene, growing up around record labels and industry executives, having access to, producers, studios, and managers early in their life, and as well as receiving publicity before even releasing a single song. So, now having famous parents doesn't always mean you're always going to be, oh, this person has talent. It must be passing through the genes. But, the debate isn't about talent. It's about whether some of these artists began the race at a halfway point versus while some artists start at the starting point. So we're going to look at some successful examples of dynasties, if you want to call it that. I like to think there's a difference between nepotism and dynasty, but we'll get into that in a little bit later. So when we got a successful example of, dynasty, if you want to call it that, is let's look at Billy Ray Cyrus and Miley Cyrus. Now, Billy Ray Cyrus had a huge career in country music before Miley was born, but Miley also absolutely benefited from the industry access, but eventually she outgrew her father's level of fame. So, Billy Cyrus had a huge career in country music. He's done great things. He's had, even in 2019 with that Little Nas X Country Road, where he jumped on the remix, which was I actually liked it. So he already is a legend in his own right. And then Miley Cyrus, she grew up, obviously, some of us probably know her from Hannah Montana in the early 2000s on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Disney kids doing the most.
Yeah, for real. But Miley Cyrus had access to the entertainment world from a young age. But Hannah Montana was definitely which launched her career in, gave her one of the biggest pop careers in the early 2000s. However, she proved herself through multiple successful reinventions. She went from Hannah Montana, and then she just took on her name. And she has, reinvented herself and then released several hit albums and singles where she is now her own standalone artist. She's no longer in the shadow of her father. She stands alongside him in the pop country sound, if you want to call it that. And, I think that, in my opinion, is a dynasty in a way where she wasn't truly somebody who didn't have talent, but it was somebody who definitely had talent, but because of her father, she had a little bit more of an earlier start in her career compared to some other people who may have had more of a grassroots approach to their career. But
yeah, I think I'm not a big Miley Cyrus fan, but she comes from, of course, Billy Ray Cyrus, huge country artist, and I think she implemented some of what I think he did. I think she learned certainly a lot about the industry, I think, through her dad. But she certainly went a completely different direction than I think he did. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Right.
Right.
So
100%. And then, now another successful dynasty story is Julio and Enrique Iglesias. Now, Julio Iglesias, who I'm not as familiar with, is a legendary Spanish singer and songwriter recognized for his best-selling. He's one of the best-selling music artists in history, selling over 300 million records globally in 14 different languages. He gained international superstardom in the 1970s and 80s for his romantic ballads and magnetic stage presence. So he's already, he already has multiple decades and already has a successful career. And then here comes his son, the son of international star. Now you have Enrique, whose many critics assumed he was only successful because of the family name, but he became one of the biggest Latin pop stars ever, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, I want to say. I think that was the range where his career mostly did the most hits. But yeah, so he was also, his father is obviously a global mega star, and he stepped into the scene and as well as had his own reign where his name is kind of neck and neck with his own father. And that's amazing. Just like, we talk about Billy and Miley Cyrus, there are some great success stories where family connections can really bring out another talented, person in the family that can definitely be seen in the world as okay, that family has something going on, and
right.
Yeah.
I mean, Enrique Iglesias, I know a few of the songs, right? From, I don't know, I think 8th grade or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Julio Iglesias myself either. But again, I think I don't know. So that kind of, I think, says something, though, right? Because I didn't even know his father was this legendary artist. I only know him as the superstar I think he was kind of on his own.
Right.
So, I think that says something right there.
Yeah.
I had no idea who his father was. So.
Yeah. And exactly. And that proves that he was able to step outside of the shadow and now, cast his, and then be able to stand toe to toe with his own father. And not in a bad sense, but in sense that he paved his own way as well. So yeah, that's great. And then I think we go on to another, this is what I've been holding for a while. The Bob Marley and his several other children. He has 12 children. I think 8 or 9 of them are actually in music as a career.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about just, Bob Marley and like the top 3, which I think Ziggy, Stephen, and Damian Gong Marley. Bob Marley, who everyone knows, is a legendary reggae singer, songwriter, and guitarist, and considered the pioneers of the genre. He was renowned for his distinctive voice, songwriting. He preached unity, freedom, and human rights, built, around the core themes of one love, emancipation from oppression, and like spiritual awakening. Everyone, especially in the 60s and 70s, know who Bob Marley is. And yes, no one's gonna take that away. But several of Bob Marley's children have followed in his footsteps and became successful musicians in their own way. Ziggy Marley, multiple Grammy winner, formerly of the Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. Then you have Stephen Marley, multiple Grammy-winning musician and producer, and then Damian Jr. Gong Marley, which I know personally, not personally, but I like his music the most. 4-time Grammy-winning reggae and hip-hop artist. I love him in particular more because he did a joint album with Nas called Distant Cousins. It's fantastic. It's like a love letter to me. Yeah, he blended 2 of my favorite sounds in both of these talented artists came together. It's a great, if you ever have a chance, it's a great project to listen. But so Bob Marley, obviously a legend in his own right, and not just a legend in general. And then several of his children, I'm just listing 3. There's several others I didn't mention that are also talented musicians and had their own careers, their own sound, and they have their own like style. And I think certain people, I think having access to, music as a kid, like, being around that definitely does play a factor. But these artists were, even though they were, in the shadow of their father, they stood out on their own and developed our own lane for their music. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's wild that all of his, or not all, but a lot of his children were extremely talented musicians, winning multiple Grammys for their own music. That's quite an accomplishment. So that says a lot there.
Yeah, that's definitely it. I would classify that as a dynasty, but but another nepotism example in music, and it's a good one. And this one, I feel like I don't have to really explain Beyonce to anyone. Beyonce and Solange Knowles. I don't have to explain Beyonce, but if you need me to remind you, she has 35 Grammy Awards. She's done it all. Okay, I'm done. I'm just going to move on. It's just Beyonce. I don't have to explain it anyway. But her sister, Solange, I feel like I'm mispronouncing her name, is a Grammy Award-winning American singer and songwriter and visual artist who also works as a dancer and actress. And lately, she's been breaking new ground as a classical ballet composer. So, yeah. So, yet again, obviously, you know who Beyonce is. She's a titan in R&B and music in general. But Solange also has her own lane, and she does her own sound. She has very good music if you ever get a chance. But she is her own, artist. She doesn't need her sister per se, but obviously they have very strong, family ties, but she's her own artist, her own sound, her own like she has like, and then she's the fact that she's doing ballet composing is just the fact that she's just talented.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, here's another example, sister and sister, but I mean, Beyonce, what can you don't need to say anything.
Right.
But I think they're kind of they're in their own worlds a little bit. I don't think they're in the same lane. And I think that makes it a little bit, not tougher, but it's just trying to build your own identity from this international superstar.
Right.
It takes a lot, I think, in its own right. So
100%. And so those are just examples successful nepotism and dynasty music. Like there's just great families, and like we talk about Jackson 5, Bob Marley, the Cyrus family, the Knowles / Carter family, and it's great that they have like an abundance of talent amongst everyone, and everyone is able to kind of like shine in their own way. Yeah. So before I go over into the next segment, what is, when you think of nepotism, naturally, some people before I go into the next one, do you have any like I guess problems with nepotism in music?
I think it becomes a problem when it's almost as if they don't build, like the artist doesn't build their own identity from their family or from wherever, they were kind of not given a gift, but in a way given a gift. They don't do anything with it.
Right.
They just, it's like a privilege or an entitlement, and they just think they deserve it.
Right.
That's when I start to have an issue with it, because at that point it's like you're not contributing to the art anymore. You're just already building what's already there.
Right.
You're not doing anything interesting.
No, I hear you. I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. And that's why the next segment we're going to get into now is the good, the bad, and the ugly of nepotism in music industry.
Let's talk about the good. So the first advantage, I think, is access. Because a lot of aspiring musicians, artists, struggle to get, the meetings with, big producers, managers, label execs, artists, with who have famous parents or who are already in the industry. You grow up knowing these people. And I think that's important. Like just having the connections right away is huge.
Yeah.
Because with that, the second part is the financial support. Recording music, filming, touring, marketing, all of that can cost thousands, millions of dollars. And a lot of, artists, they don't have that money. They don't have that support. So again, that's another advantage, is usually if you have a very successful family or whoever, member, friend that's already in the industry and they're successful, they probably have the financial means to support if they can.
Right.
And then third, of course, is visibility. So media outlets, everything. If you already have an artist or a family member or a friend who's famous, they're going to cover you because that name is already out there. So you get that visibility pretty much right away. So I think it's, for the listener, there are times where a connection to a certain sound is, very infectious or rare, and the listener industry wants it. The sound can sometimes be an ingredient to a dynasty, which I would agree with, because that sound often kind of is the launching point of a lot of these artists who are up and coming.
Mm.
So an example of this, you want to talk about this example?
Oh yeah. Oh, the Womack sisters. That was so. This is a recent discovery of mine, and I think we were talking about this before. And so the Womack sisters is the granddaughters of Sam Cooke, legendary and legend Sam Cooke, and the nieces of Bobby Womack. Yeah, I've heard a couple of their tracks. Obviously, I love Sam Cooke. We both talk about it, and and Bobby Womack in particular too. But these sisters come from soul legends, and they blend their roots in soul with R&B and gospel into their sound, which feels like a breath of fresh air, but that also feels familiar. So like listening to it, I love all these different genres, elements of the same genre, independently, but when they're all under the same roof, it does sound. You can hear the Bobby Womack influence. You can hear the Sam Cooke. You can hear the instruments that sound like the 60s and 70s in terms of production. So it's new, but also at the same time, it feels like a love letter to the classic sound of the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, and I think that's what it should be, right? Like you're building this dynasty, and you're giving honor to your family or whoever started it, but you're also building from that and creating your own sound to continue that legacy, which I think that's cool.
Right. 100%. 100%. All
right. Should we talk about the bad?
I guess we should. I'll go there. I'll do this.
All right.
So the bad for artists and bands, less opportunity for unknown artists and bands. So a label may be willing to invest in the child of a famous musician than in an equally talented unknown artist. So this is where it's kind of bad for the music industry in the sense that people are not going to record labels are going to always try to choose some sort of safe option or a safe bet. So if they see somebody they're the daughter or the son of X artist who's sold, millions of records in the past or whatever the case may be, they'll throw the entire resources of the music industry, such as access to producers, access to recording, access to just, promotioning, marketing, and they'll throw that behind someone who barely has a single out or even maybe one song out or no song out, and they'll put all those resources behind that. So it takes away a pool of attention from someone who's upcoming and is trying to make a sound for a name for themselves. And an example of this: every year, an estimate of 100,000 songs are uploaded to streaming platforms daily, according to industry reports. So we're talking about they're trying to not say flood the market. I'm gonna rephrase. They're trying to push as much of the product that they think will sell, versus taking a challenge or a bet. I'm sorry, an unknown bet on an artist that is trying to get their name out there. They may have mixtapes, they may have an album out, or they have a couple of singles out, but they don't have as much of resources push behind that. And I think in the sense for the artist that comes from a family, this is where I think it could also put a handicap on them. I think being self-made as an upcoming band or artist, there's a sense of hunger, dedication, and struggle that can harden an artist in a band for challenging paths to success and give them an ability to protect their vision. I think a Nepo baby, if you want to use that negative term, they may lack this core element, and this can bring down artists eventually, if not flatten their career before it even takes off. So,
Yeah, that's wild that, 100,000 songs are uploaded to streaming platforms daily.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's I think because of believe it or not, it's not as challenging as I mentioned before to get your music up on Apple Music, Spotify, or Amazon Music if you listen to it there. Right. But there is paths to do it, so it's easy to do so. But I think the structure of the music industry now for artists and bands is just keep throwing everything out there and seeing what sticks versus like, so they're more concerned with quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Because if someone's like has 50 songs and maybe 20 of them are actually good, those 50 songs are going to keep their name in the conversation of relevancy, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think, unfortunately, that's just a trend that the artists and bands have to kind of adjust their strategy to, which I think is not well in the long run, but I understand why they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's an industry anyway. It's a business operation.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's true. And for the listener, this is where the bad comes in, everyone will start to sound the same. If music often evolves when fresh sounds and different life experiences enter the industry, if opportunities remain concentrated within a small network of connected families and industry insiders, fewer perspectives may reach the mainstream audience, meaning everybody's going to start sounding the same. Certain bands, certain groups, everybody's going to sound like kind of like a commercially engineered, like production level music, sound. And sometimes we like edge. Sometimes we like when production is a little rough. Sometimes we like it when things are muffled. Like, those are elements of humanity. So I think when someone's like, everything is perfect, and everybody starts sounding like perfect, the listener is like, okay, well, that group sounds like that group, that artist sounds like that artist. Everybody starts to sound the same, and they might start to tune out. And, and that causes a problem for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so do you want to take the ugly?
Yeah, so the ugly for the listener, well, for artists and bands, is pressure and backlash for the Nepo artists. Nepotism can hurt the artists who benefit from it, right? So they often face accusations that they haven't earned their success and are constantly compared to their famous relatives. See that all the time. And it creates the perception that, who matters more than talent, and it creates industry gatekeeping. Some musicians and producers have argued that powerful insiders can influence who receives projects and opportunities. And yeah, this happens all the time, I think, with a lot of, famous artists who have famous relatives. They get a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
And sometimes, sometimes it's rightfully so, but sometimes it's really like, oh, you're only famous because your relative is famous. And I think that's not always fair, because I do think there are artists out there that on their own, if they didn't have any famous relatives, I think they still would have made it and still would be really successful.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
So it's an unfortunate thing that happens, but it happens.
Yeah, very much true.
For the listener, public trust can erode, right? Fans tend to value authenticity. And when an artist is marketed as self-made, but later turns out to have an extensive industry, have connections, some listeners feel misled. And this certainly can damage trust between artists, labels, and audiences. So an example, which is a 2022 to a 2024 wave of online discussions around Nepo babies, dramatically increased public awareness of family connections in entertainment. Do you want to talk about this chart or these values?
So back to that. So it's exactly what you said. Like, artists, artists prefer the artists to be like an upcoming. They already put in time. They like that because they want to attach themselves to their journey. So when we find a new band or an artist that we're like, oh my God, they're great, and they're just starting, and I can't wait for their new album. Their single's doing great. The album comes out, does great. You feel a part of their journey. So people, I think, love that. And when it comes to, what exactly fans expect out of their artists and bands, this is this is a little chart I kind of came up with a factor of what they want. So they want, if you had to think about it in a percentage, they prefer talent to be 45%. They expect work ethic to be 25%, the originality to be 15%, 10% in connections, and 5% luck. Now, that was based off of like a results I was looking at, and I kind of pulled it together. And basically, I think that's how they look at it, is they want someone that has obviously their own sound, their own vision of what they bring to music or whatever genre they're in, but they also want a work ethic. Like, not just having talent alone will guarantee success. We have people who are like, for example, I'm gonna bring up Prince, who is actually, just extremely talented. But the guy, I learned that he actually could play like past, but 20 different instruments. He didn't, so like, and then he was developing all these sounds and productions for all of his albums. That's like not just talent. That takes time. That takes patience. That takes like, persistence to continue when you're, trying to mix something, or you're trying to, make sure the levels of the sounds are great. That's work ethic. And then originality is, like I said, what separates you from the next guy? What separates you from the next lady? Why should we listen to you? So that's also another thing. 10% can be connections, meaning they can be cool with that. They can be cool with the fact that you may have made a friend with someone who works at a label. You might make a friend with an A&R representative. So connections can be like, they got noticed by a scout or AR representative, and now they're starting to get like other connections. So people are comfortable with that because they see that as a normal procedure of how things work. And last but not least, luck. So I think it should be higher, but
yeah, it's a little surprising.
Yeah. But luck goes a long way, So, but these are just what an average fans look at in their artists and bands in terms of their careers.
Interesting. Very interesting.
What do you think?
No, I mean I'm a little surprised. Luck, I thought that should be higher. I actually thought, I really think work ethic and talent should almost be the same, like level.
I agree with that. I have to agree with that. Yeah.
So, yeah, but for others, I think a lot. I agree with what is here. I'm just a little surprised in the ones I stated.
I hear you. I was surprised too. I thought luck would be much higher, but
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like only 5%.
It's wild.
Yeah. So, so before we go on, now we go on to the next segment, and this is where we kind of give our opinions on this. Does it benefit music industry to have nepotism, and does it benefit the listener?
Yeah. It's an interesting question because does it benefit the music industry? I mean, I think it benefits the music industry to a point, right? Because I think it's, if you have somebody who, is in this, has a famous relative or friend, whatever,
right?
To the music industry, that may be basically kind of free money,
right?
Where it's like, we know this person and we know their relative was extremely successful and somewhat talented. Maybe their, daughter or son is also as talented. So let's bring them in and let's kind of see what they're all about. So instead of, wasting money, or not wasting, but using money on like scouting for talent or, looking for the next artist, it's kind of like, well, you have a point here, or you have somebody that, who comes from a family that's been successful. Let's give them a try. So you're not spending a ton of money and time kind of trying to find somebody.
Mm.
Now, that doesn't automatically mean they're going to be successful.
Right.
But it's at least you don't have to go out there and try and do that. Now, does it benefit the listener? I don't always think it does. It depends. I guess it depends on what kind of listener you are. Are you somebody who listens to more than just like the top 40 or whatever?
Right.
Or actually, I don't think it matters. I think it's just, it comes down to, is this person successful in whatever genre or whatever niche they're in? Because it's either going to be, the listener likes it and whatever, or they're not going to like you and they're going to expose you for what you are.
Right.
You're just somebody who got like a free ride to Successville. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But you're not actually talented or original because you kind of got a free handout.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
But what do you think?
I think in the sense of music industry, I think I understand why it happens. I don't know if it necessarily... I think it doesn't benefit the music industry, but I think it benefits the listener to some degree, and I'll try to elaborate. So the music industry is obviously are always going to take safe choices and safe bets. I get it. They're about numbers, stats, sales. I get that. But the problem is it hurts the music industry in terms of like everybody is going to fight for attention, and there's only a matter of attention is the currency now. It's so hard for artists and bands to kind of keep up with, like we just said, like hundreds of thousands of songs are being uploaded to platforms. That's a lot. That's a lot to compete with. And now you're just hoping that you can make somewhat of a splash, enough to kind of like be remembered in the listener's like memory. Like, oh, I like that group, I like that band, or I like that artist. I'm gonna keep them, and hopefully you're at kind of like the mercy of the algorithm to keep them kind of remembering your sound. So I think the music industry, it's not benefiting, because if you're giving a chance to artists that are not, let's just say, they have grit, or they have like kind of like a lived experience of trying to make their name, you kind of like, and then you give these people, like, I'm not gonna, crap on some artists. I'm not gonna say a certain one, but let's say you give an artist that's like a relative of someone who's famous, and then they kind of doesn't do well. Now you just kind of like just sunk thousands, if not millions of dollars into their career, and they have no talent. They don't have the ability to navigate it because they don't have the backbone to deal with issues that were, like I said, from the self-made thing. So it's like, where do they stand in the sense of how do they benefit the record labels? It's like a short-term gain, but it's a long-term failure. So I feel like there's a lot more of a I think there's only a certain amount of artists that are in family groups that are actually really, really well talented. And I think there are some people who just care, who want to be involved, but they don't really have the exact, drive for it. So I think in the music industry, I don't think it does well for them. But I think the listener, in the sense that it definitely helps knowing that there are artists who have like sound that are like, okay, the Womack sisters, the Sam Cooke, Bobby Womack. You have someone that is like a group of sisters that give you a sound from the 60s and 70s that you kind of miss, but you also want it kind of modernized to some degree. So I think it definitely has its value with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So should we get into the voting game?
Oh yeah.
For our next segment here.
Oh yeah. Let's go it.
So you want to introduce the game?
All right. So the voting game is Nepotism or Dynasty. Now, nepotism meaning like did they get their did they deserve to be in the same length, in the same name as like a famous member in the family, or are they like on their own? So meaning nepotism, such as, I don't want to give a bad example. I feel like I'm about to I feel like I'm about to probably bring someone down, but like there are some, I won't say like nepotism that are bad, like they got into the music industry without really having their own skill. They were more of a flop.
Right.
They were more of a flop.
Yep.
So nepotism or dynasty. Dynasty is like the Jackson 5, the Knowles family, the Bob Marley, that's what we sense. So we're going to look at, success. There we go. Success stories. There you go. So the first round, Miley Cyrus. Nepotism or dynasty?
This one, I mean, to me, I think this is dynasty.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, I think she benefited a little bit in the start, of course, but she landed her own major television role and then became her own unique pop star.
Right.
Where, there's influences of country in some of her songs and certainly some of it from her dad. But it's completely different. And I think she kind of made her own brand and separated herself from her father enough where, she's successful by herself. So I think she's a dynasty.
Okay. I 100% have to agree with you on that. I don't have any negative things. I think, like I said, I really wasn't a fan of country, so I don't really know Billy Ray Cyrus music like that. But I think both Miley and Billy kind of made their own splash in music in that sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. So, dynasty for her.
I think we both agree on that one.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next one. Julian Lennon, son of Beatles legend John Legend. I want you to go first for this one. So what do you think? Nepotism or dynasty?
I'm gonna go nepotism. Not to be disrespectful to John Lennon, I think I'm gonna go there. I don't really know much of his music compared to his dad, former Beatle. So I'd say like it's gonna have to be nepotism for me. I haven't really, I don't think they really he's made his own splash or his own name for success story wise. So where do you stand?
This one's tough. I know a little bit about his son.
Right.
I think he benefited obviously from his father's name, and certainly during the whole Beatle mania thing, he benefited a lot from that. But he's not. I mean, it's weird to say like he's not a huge artist, but he kind of is. Because he did earn a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist in 1984, I think it was, for an album he had. And he was actually he's a composer, so he scored a lot of international chart success.
Oh man.
But again, these were for like films in other countries, like for Australia.
Okay. Okay.
And he's also written like books and things like that. So, he's done some things and he's worked on like documentaries and like, obviously he's big in his own right.
Right.
It's just hard to say because like, I don't listen to anything he's ever done really. But I think, and to take a step back, I think that's just because he's not big here in America. I think outside of America, you might know who he is.
Yeah. Got a point there.
So I'm gonna actually say dynasty for this one. I'm gonna go with dynasty.
You made a very compelling point. You might have a point. I hear what you're saying. You're right.
So that's an interesting one, but yeah. So
yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's go to this one.
Yes,
the Marley family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got. I'll start.
Please go for it.
To me, this is pretty easy. This is a dynasty, right?
Yes.
Everyone, Ziggy Marley, all of them, Damien, have won multiple Grammy Awards, spread across generations and genres and all the things. Like, they're just successful in their own right for each of them.
Yeah.
And no shade, of course, at Bob Marley, the legend.
Right.
I don't think they needed his name to be successful. They would have done it on their own. So
100%. I love that. 100% agree. 100% agree.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Enrique Iglesias. So Enrique Iglesias. What do you think? What do you think for this one?
I go Dynasty. In the sense that Julio was obviously a legend, and it still is a legend, and has made his own legacy. And I think Enrique, following in his father's footsteps, but then I think he stands on his own lane. As in the late 90s, early 2000s, he was killing it in the Latin pop scene.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think, same thing. I agree with that 100%. So he was a huge star, Enrique, his son, in the 90s, early 2000s, I believe, too. So I think on his own right, he made his own scene, and yeah, absolute destiny. So Willow Smith and Jada Smith, obviously the son, daughter of Will Smith. So what do you think? Is it dynasty or nepotism?
I think it's too early to say. So I'm going to say for right now, because both Jaden Smith and Willow Smith's careers are still kind of like upcoming. So for right now, I want to say nepotism. If that makes sense, maybe.
Yeah. I would agree. I think a little bit of nepotism. I'm going to say this thing.
I'll go for it.
Like Willow, I think she is developing her own sound. And from what I've heard, I think she has some unique things she's doing. Jaden, I don't know what he's doing. Like, I know he's more into like the fashion world. And I think not so much music. At least that's my understanding. And I don't have a good understanding of what he is doing. So don't quote me on any of this. But it just seems like, I don't know, like I just don't know what he's trying to do. So to me, that's a little bit of like nepotism there.
I agree with you, because he started out like in the, I think, mid 2010s, late 2010s. He started kind of like enter the rap scene, hip hop scene, and everything. But I think he's kind of went from that to fashion to this to that to this to that. So I feel like he's a little bit all over the place. Where I think Willow is a little bit more concentrated in music. So I agree. I hear what you're saying, and you got a point though.
So, but who knows? We'll see as they get older what they're going to do.
Yeah. For right now, I would say nepotism, just because it's just too early to judge their career.
Definitely. All right. I mean, round 6. Let's get to this one. This is an easy one, I think. The Jackson family. What do you think?
I think anyone who says nepotism, I'd recheck their music taste. It's Dynasty. It's
Dynasty.
I mean,
like, I don't know.
Yeah. Is that even I don't know why.
Yeah, it's Dynasty, and that's it.
Yeah, we just kind of move on.
Right, we're just gonna move on.
Yeah.
Next we have Jacob Dylan,
Mm-hmm.
lead singer of the Wallflowers and son of iconic rock legend Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
He formed the band in 1989, and while the group has undergone several lineup changes over the decades. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I'll start this one.
Please.
Nepotism.
Ooh, really? Please.
Yeah.
Speak on it.
I mean, sure, the Wallflowers are a great band in their own right. I enjoy many of their songs, but I don't think Jacob Dylan, songwriter, it's very similar to his dad, and he's not. It's not his own identity, kind of thing.
Okay.
So I really think he's using Bob Dylan,
the dad,
the legend, himself, to kind of carry his success through, his own career.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I'm gonna have to agree. As much as I was hoping you would change my mind, yeah, Derek's like, no. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
I agree with you, brother. As much as I love Bob Dylan, I think you're right. It's more copying what was already there and just not really making it to his own. I think is the biggest issue here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then finally we have, the Carter Knowles, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Solange. I mean, similar. This is a dynasty.
Yep. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I 100% agree.
So, yeah, that's a pretty easy one.
All right.
And then we got a bonus round. You want to talk about the bonus round?
All right,
what is this?
All right, bonus round. True or false? Every music dynasty begins with nepotism. True or false?
Well, yes, I think true. Right? Because if you're coming from somebody who is successful, regardless of your own unique abilities, you're benefiting from that name.
Right.
So you're automatically going to start nepotism. But you can build that into dynasty, I think. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's true. I think it starts there. It starts with nepotism, but I believe it can evolve into its own thing. But not all of them always evolve. I think some of them stay within just connections and family ties versus everybody is doing their own sound. We look at the Marley family, you look at the Jacksons, they're like, okay, you do that, you do this, you do that. And they're all individually conquering different lanes. And now it just looks like, oh, all of them are really good. Versus, just like, oh, my dad or my mom is this famous musician or composer, so listen to me. And then you're like, okay, we did, but what difference are you compared to your parents? And then that's where that's where I think is where it's just pure nepotism at that point. Yeah.
Agree.
No. 100%. So, any final thoughts? Topics?
No, I think this is an interesting topic. I think there's a fine line between nepotism and then creating a dynasty where artists have to create their own unique sound that's theirs, and they're no longer benefiting from the sound of their famous relative. I think that is kind of what makes you successful versus people who just don't change and just continue benefiting from that name.
Right.
But I think eventually the audience or your listeners kind of see through that. and it just you're not as successful because of that.
Right.
So
true. That's true.
Yeah. But thank you for joining us on this episode.
Yep.
As always, please check out all of our things. So we have musicmusingspodcast.com. Check us out on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a comment, and also please send us any emails, feedback, tracks, anything interesting to musicmusingspodcast@gmail.com. And we will see you all next time.
All right. Take care.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you have an idea for an intro or an outro that we could play on our show, please send to musicmusingspodcast@gmail.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please email us at musicmusingspodcast@gmail.com.